Hey, everybody. Matt Cribbs here, and welcome to another Wednesday morning drive. It's another bright, cold winter day, and it is amazing. Love this. I am a big fan of cold weather. Makes me feel just, that bite in the air makes me feel awake and alive, and I don't know, call me crazy. I like it. When it's too hot, I always feel lethargic and slow, and I don't. Cold, amazing, love it. Anyway, welcome. Some good news in the gaming space. Let's talk about that for a bit. First of all, thank you all very much. You're amazing. Love you. Thanks for the likes, thumbs up. Don't forget to keep leaving them. Share and let sun. Let the people who live on the sun there, shining stuff in my eyes, know that I'm here. And yeah, let everyone know. Anyway, good news. Did a lot of building and recording over the past week or so. Got everything ready for an episode to come out of vanilla Minecraft, doing some good things. I'm really pumped about that series right now. That should be coming out probably tomorrow. It's rendered. I need to upload it, and I don't want to put out can't do it today because it's on my machine at home and I'm going to work, so I'll do that tonight. It'll be up tomorrow. But I'm pumped about the vanilla series. You go through different moods, you go through different, like feelings of what you want to do and what you want to create. And, I want to create what people want to see. That's always important. But also somewhat you got to follow just the call of the inspiration of your muse or whatever it is. You have to do what you feel like doing, especially when you're not doing this full time and you're time limited, like I am. Not an excuse, just the way it is. So yeah, you got to do that. And right now I'm feeling pumped. I got 3 big projects lined up, finishing my spawn house. I volunteered to build a town hall, which I think I have a great idea. I think it's gonna be really cool in the town. And then moving on to my main base. So good things will be happening there. Anyway, speaking of good things, the converse, not so good things, did want to mention David Bowie's passing, which is sad. He was, anyone passing is sad, but David Bowie was, especially for people my age, he was iconic. He was one of those artists who was always there and created lots of things in such a broad array. He was not, I would say, one of my favorite musicians. It wasn't that style. I think there's a bunch of different styles of people, right? Of artists you follow, especially music, right? There's those bands and people that every single thing in their catalog. You might not like them all, but you know them all and you follow them. So, for me, that might be like, Bare Naked Ladies, or They Might Be Giants, or Rush, or someone like that. Those are, the core. Beatles, of course. Of course for me, not for everyone. But, then there's others where one or two or more key pieces that they make, but you don't really follow, you don't go out of your way to listen to every album, but the one or two key things they make in their career that kind of are the special bits. And there's some artists that you might only like a phase they go through, or maybe a particular album, or only a portion of their catalog and things like that. So it's all good. For me, I would say David Bowie was kind of in the, the key pieces. And the key things he made are just so cultural and so iconic and so different than so much else. So, for that, I think he gets, he's one of those few really influential people across a long span of time. So there you go. And of course, long live the crotch. If you're like, what? Go watch Labyrinth. It's an amazing movie. It's a lot of fun. It was one of my favorites. Is one of my favorites with Jennifer Connelly and Hoggle and Muppet work that is done. And it also prominently features David Bowie as Jareth. Oh God, I can't believe I forget it. Jareth, King of the Goblin King, and his crotch is codpiece and tights, man. What can you do? but it's up there in full, full big screen glory. So yeah, there it goes. Yeah. Anyway, today I wanted to talk about some topics that are very hitting me, as usual. Topic that's hitting me pretty hard lately, and that is time management. I am in crunch time right now. I'm working on a project at work, which is the first version is going live next week. So basically this week is like the last week we get to finish everything up and be ready to go. So I am in what is called in the development world crunch time. We are working our butts off to get everything done. I've had like a little headache behind my eye here since last Thursday. I've been working until late every day. It's just going, and we are busting butt to get everything we can, all the questions answered, things working correctly, test it, fix it, and get it ready. And everyone is. The entire project team across the company I work for and a couple different companies working with us, everyone's busting butt to get this thing done, which is bad. It's not the way a project should work. You should be able to plan things ahead, and mistakes happen, accidents happen, unplanned things happen. What applies in warfare is the same as I think in software development, is that plans never survive first contact with the enemy. Plans never survive the first sprint or the first development cycle. It's just things will change, and you won't know how things work. So your guesses, that's how we come up with how long anything will take. Is we basically make a wild guess based on other problems that it might have been similar to that we've solved in the past, and kind of how complex or how hard we think it is. We make a guess, and sometimes we guess wrong, and so things take longer. But yes, due to various factors, this project, like almost every software project out there, I was reading an interesting article, or maybe it was just a post on Reddit, where someone had pointed out it's entirely possible to go your entire career in software development and never work on a successful or a well-run project. Successful, I might say, is a little bit strong. Depends on how you define success. But on a project that is on time and on budget and complete as far as everything it's supposed to do. I mean, that's a thing that can happen, and I think the actual argument was that most software developers would not work on a project in their entire career that was executed correctly. And that's a harsh thing to say, but I think there's some truth to it. Building software is incredibly complex. It's incredibly hard. It requires a lot of different people that are good at a lot of different things and don't always think the same way. And I don't think it always gets the respect it deserves as a complicated task, because people see the end result and use websites and they're like, this, is, and they don't understand how hard it is behind the scenes, and also the fact that most people just don't understand how it works. They don't know all the components. They don't know the things behind it. So when you're looking at just the results, it's easy to underestimate the complexity of it. But anyway, complicated cycles. This project, like many, had some things go wrong. Some things went very well. And as a result, we are working hard at the end of the project to catch up. And it's one of those things that happens so often, because, a little mistake, not even a mistake, a little decision, a decision that was made early on in the project that might not have been, might have been seemed perfectly correct given the information you knew at the time. By the time you get towards the end, information may have changed. You may have discovered something else about the project. Maybe the decision itself, was missing something. But if it was, made early in the project, by the time the project is at its end, things have been based on that decision and dependency, and it's all moved around, and it comes to a lot of work that needs to be done. And so that's the phase we're in now. And it's we kind of get yourself, and most software development gets itself into that problem where little things add up and you might not realize it right away, and the deadline isn't moving, so you got to do what you can, and you end up either working too hard, which also means you make poor mistakes, or you remove pieces of functionality, things the program you were writing was supposed to do that you say, well, we'll just make it do that later, or there's all sorts of things you can do, but that's it. You only have what does it do, how well does it do it, and when is it going to be done? Those are really the only three levers you can pull, the only three things you can change. And it's hard. It's hard to plan. It's hard to think about these things. It's hard to take the time when you're early on in the project. It seems like you have months and months, weeks and weeks to get it done. And it's hard to really put yourself in that mindset of, well, later on it's not going to be this way. And to cover everything, you're kind of having to predict the future. You have to, pull out your crystal ball and predict. But, anyway, it's why it's sad. I'm not complaining about that. It's also hit me hard because McCrib's version 2.1, my oldest son, got hit by this as well, and of course on a much smaller scale because he's just doing homework. For all you people in school, by the way, this part of the road is amazing because I literally can only see, due to sun glare, can only see a couple feet clearly ahead of me. Everything else ahead of me is just indistinct blurs of shadow. So really got to pay attention. But all of you in school, you think projects are hard. You think it only gets harder. You're learning right now. Anyway, I'm not going to trivialize how hard it is. It is hard, but just remember that, put in the time to learn it now, because your food doesn't depend on how well you're doing, and the complexity you're dealing with now is much simpler than the real world. But it's good. You have to start somewhere. So anyway, working on a project for school, and he, quite frankly, procrastinated. He had this project before the holidays. He knew about it for weeks and months, and it was due today, and he was finishing it last night. And he was up late. He missed his bedtime. I was up late. I missed my bedtime. I wanted to go to bed early, but didn't happen. But he was, working to finish done. He got it done. Was it as good as it could have been? I don't know. We'll see. Was it good enough to get the grade he wants? I think so. But he could have done better if he would have put the right time into it. And we sat down and we talked. I'm like, look, what happened? He's like, oh, but I got it done. And I'm like, yeah, but you got it done and you affected other people. You made me stay up late. You were using my computer last night when I wanted to do other things with it. Your actions, your waiting, your lack of planning affected me now. And he's like, oh, I didn't think about that. And I'm like, and now look how hard you're working and how hard it was. If you would have done, 20 minutes every day on it, he's like, oh, that would have been so much easier. But in the heat of the moment, not even the heat of the moment, at the time, you're like, I can always do it another time. And to some extent you can, and you can get away with that for a while, but your work is not going to be as good. So, it hit me. Time management is as important a skill as anything else. And in fact, it may be one of the most critical things in your entire life. Everyone in the world only has the same number of hours, minutes in the day, days in the year. Why do some people get so much more done than others? And a large part of it is just because they manage their time better. They use the time they have better. And, I would go so far to say as spending the time to think about how you're going to spend your time is the only way to go. It might seem a little backwards. Wait, I'm going to stop. I have something that really, really, really has to get done right now. I don't have any time to stop. I bet you, try it. You will get it done faster if you stop working on the problem, spend some time to figure out how you're going to spend your time, and then do it. You're not going to want to. You're going to want to just dive in and get the work done. But stop. Plan out what you're going to do. Organize your time, and then go. Because that will help you get it done, help you feel better, help you be calmer, and help you get the work done more efficiently, and you'll get more done than you ever thought you could. Anyway, that's my little lecture on time management. And hope you do well on your work. Hope I do well on my project and get stuff out. And until next time, I'll see you later. So have a good one. Bye.